Okay, so, okay.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to how do we want to do this? Do we want to just go section by section?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The first page is just filling out basic facts.
Mm-hmm.
So we can skip that. Basically just turn to section.
New activities. Want to go over that?
Yeah.
B2?
Yeah.
So we're basically just listing our developments. So HUD approved Bertha Mitchell to convert to Section 8 back in 2019. Or was it?
Okay, Bertha Mitchell gonna be.
Maybe it was 2021, but I can't remember now. But basically, as soon as we spend down the remaining public housing funding on the rehab that we're about to do there, it's in for permitting right now. But once that gets completed, that will convert. So all the residents there will get Section 8 vouchers
Well,
at Bertha Mitchell.
How does Section 8, how does Section 8 will be coming out of the housing, those resident there, yeah.
So each household will get their own Section 8 voucher.
Okay.
And then you'll have 3 options, okay? You can move out with it if you want. You can stay and lease your current unit from us. We'll be your landlord, basically, just like we are now. And you basically pay the same rent. The only people who will be affected is if you're on a flat rent. If you're making a lot of money and you're on a flat rent, you'll have to switch to an income-based rent, which you're still only going to pay 30% of your income.
So some people are going to have to move no matter what. Because
no one has to move.
But if they choose to move, they're going to be, you said choose an option. It's either that, so it's like they're opting out. If they decide to leave, they're giving up their housing voucher?
No.
we'll go with them.
So, when it's public housing, you're kind of stuck at the property, right? You can't take your assistance and move with it, right? The assistance belongs with Bertha Mitchell.
Okay.
But now you're going to get your own, each household is going to have their own voucher, okay?
So right now they're not on their own voucher?
No.
Okay.
They're living in a public housing unit, and the subsidy comes from HUD to the Housing Authority, and that's it. So once we convert, you'll get your own voucher. We're going to have meetings and explain all this to everybody. But you don't have to move. You can still live there and pay the same income as or same rent based on your income as you're paying now. And in 5 years, you might say, okay, I want to move. The market's softened. I can go rent a unit wherever, down the street or in another neighborhood, and we'll help you do that. But we hope people stay. But the point is that people will have the ability to take their housing assistance really wherever they want. They could even move out of state with it if they want.
Could they move into a place like, say, a landlord is willing to sell them that place in a certain amount of years?
Maybe. I mean, we do have a homeownership program for the Section 8 program. If you're disabled and you qualify, the voucher subsidy will subsidize your mortgage for 30 years if you're disabled. If you're able-bodied, it'll subsidize your principal and interest payments for 15 years. But we've had like 30 people in the
That's
voucher
fine.
program become homeowners. So yes, that is a possibility. But no one has to move if they don't want to. We're not going to ask people to move. We're certainly not requiring anybody to move.
But if they see that it's in, I
But
mean, they can. I understand.
From then on, they have the
It's-
option to do whatever they want with that voucher. Like if they have family in Atlanta and they want to go move and be with their family in Atlanta, they can do that.
And then when they get to Atlanta, now are they on? They're not on you no more. They'll have to have their own.
Good question. It depends.
Mhm.
So many times a housing authority will absorb that household into their voucher program. Okay? They don't have to, but they can. We do that a lot. Right now we can't absorb anyone because we don't have enough funding.
Right.
But even if they don't absorb you into the Atlanta voucher program, you can still move there and live there and lease a unit from one of their landlords, and they will literally bill us every month for, if the subsidy is $950 a month that they owe the landlord, they'll bill us every month, and we have to pay the Atlanta Housing Authority for whatever they need to subsidize your rent.
So you would absorb the payments until such time Atlanta can
Yes,
take.
correct.
Okay.
It's called portability, and it happens all over the country.
Oh, I understand that. You understand it now?
Mhm.
Okay.
And the last thing I was just going to touch on is we've talked about it and we've never done it, but let's just take 50 vouchers as an example. We could do a big solicitation, like a public solicitation, and tell the public we're looking for, let's just say, 10 properties around the county where we would be willing to project base 5 vouchers per property. Okay? So 5 vouchers in 10 different communities, and that would be 50 total project based vouchers. And what that does is it creates like kind of ongoing affordable subsidized units spread out around the community. We don't have to build anything, right? And the board can determine how we want to select those properties. So we might consider the crime rate, or we might consider how good the schools are in that community. We might consider like the availability of jobs, right, in that locality and stuff. So HUD talks about areas of opportunity. So we could do something like that, and not, put more subsidized units, for example, in Newtown, but we can spread it out around the county, and then have more of an ongoing supply of affordable housing.
Well, we tried that before.
I think so.
Remember, well, not the way you said it, but we did try to stretch out because we remember those apartments we tried to get in Gillespie,
Oh yeah,
and they said not in my
I
backyard.
know. Yeah,
They
did.
wouldn't allow.
Yeah. But we were trying to buy
that.
that. This would still
Right.
be owned by whoever owns it now, but we would enter into a contract with them to say, okay, we're going to subsidize 5 units and for 15 years, and they have to obviously they have to pass the inspection protocols and stuff. And I have to check. There might be a requirement that they invest at least $3,000 per unit to like make improvements to the units as well. Anyway, I think it'd be. I know a number of other housing authorities have done this, and I think it'd be a good way to create more subsidized units in Sarasota without us having to buy something or build something.
On here, you talk about the PBV, and you say 25 of the new units is coming up out of the 100.
Yeah, where is that? Lofts on Lemon too? Yeah.
Why do we go with such low numbers?
Well, that's generally been HUD's cap on a development. Mostly because they don't want to concentrate subsidized units in new developments.
That's a fad, because
A what?
when
A fad?
because when people get their vouchers, property is congregating to another property. All those people is low income.
Yeah.
Like say on Fruitville, I think it's Fruitville or somewhere. When people got their vouchers, they could rent them, but some other places they couldn't rent.
Right.
I want to propose that maybe we come up with some a meeting or training, whatever you want to call it, because these people, you know how you used to let me share with these people, because they need to know what's expected of them going into another community.
Right.
Because they need to know how they need to handle their children, and they can't have parties and stuff, just some stuff, you think about it, more or less like a curriculum, and it's something that a must need. So you could have classes where anybody that think they want to move or going to be moving off of the project or property, they need to go through these classes, because there's some need to know information.
Yeah, we can do that.
So to get them ready. The towers, planning phase, and is expected to close date. Okay, so the residents still do not want the parking garage open, and they have that fear, rightfully so, for anybody to come in the parking garage. So
Put those comments in the plan.
okay. Oh, you put them in there already?
No, we will.
Oh, okay.
About the McCown residents not wanting the parking
yeah.
open to the
Because of
public.
safety, yeah.
Right.
A lot of the main thing is safety in their heart right now is safety.
And Lance
Taking
was over
over.
here this morning. We finally got the gate fence or the fence
Oh, good.
where he was over.
I
here.
knew they were coming over today to look at it.
He
So.
was here this morning when I got here,
good.
waiting on them. So I guess that's fine. Mr. Russell.
So wait, going back to the PBV 25% thing.
Okay.
We did go above the 25% for Cypress Square 2.
You did?
Yeah, because we're doing 33 out of 108.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's like 30%. Because we were replacing some public housing there. So HOTMA allows us to go over 25
Okay.
if we're replacing like an existing public housing community.
So in this I was looking at the plan that y'all took before the planning board about Cypress, and I saw where you had pulled the youth thrive. We still want the empowerment center. I still want our goal to have an empowerment center, because we were talking on our way over here. We don't have anywhere that we can have a function for our community. And we shouldn't have to go to, because I know you like to say, well, the Boys and Girls Club, but we should have our own. As many properties and apartments that we have, we should be able to have our own place that we can have functions in, and so forth, and also to have some training, because the developers that is building and stuff for us, they're not hiring any of our people. They're bringing their own. They bringing their own, but it's an opportunity, because they can be on the job training. You know what I mean? Make a decent amount, but not be so low that it don't make a difference.
Right.
Because I think it gives people a sense of pride. But we did that in phase 1 of Janus Garden, and we haven't done it anymore. We got away from it.
Phase 2, you mean?
Well, phase 1, they were bringing in illegal immigrants.
Phase 1 was Clark. That was a fiasco.
Right, and in phase 2, it was a local developer that they did.
Right.
But it's not bad to ask
Okay.
for them. I meant to bring that lease with me. The last time we met, Mr. Russell, we talked about the new buildings. We're basically using housing authority lease. Pretty much. But it seems that they have veered off from using the basics of our lease.
Yeah.
Because they come up with different stuff. I guess they go home and have a dream or something. And they come up with something new, because it's some of the things are burden. You're paying 30% of your income, right?
Yeah.
And yet they attach other fees on that. And I think that we should be able to take a look at that. And I think because they are private developers, they don't consider who they serving. Because they're serving more of the public. But because you have vouchers in those places, you still serving low income.
So what fees are you thinking about?
Whatever they come up with. I mean, like for instance, like
I mean, what have you
over there
heard about?
on Cypress. Remember I told you about they had that increase on the bottom floor, and it was just the bottom.
The
I didn't-
utilities?
I guess so. I don't know.
You mentioned a utility increase, which would be FPL, but
Well, the top
Well, I'll look at it.
floors didn't get increased, just the bottom. And resident that stay over there, they increase the rent, right? But they say that the vouchers don't pay it. The people have to pay it. Did you look into that?
I asked you to give me at least one person's name, so I could drill down into
Okay.
a specific situation.
I
I will look at that, but I need
Okay.
to. I need.
I know one person. She works at Publix,
Okay.
and some others. But I'll ask.
If you can share a name with me, I can
Okay.
definitely look into that.
Okay.
Because we'll have those figures in our system. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Okay. So,
I have a question. Why at Cypress? Well, even at, I don't know what they have. I don't know if it's PVC or what voucher they're working on over there. But why do they have to deal with housing authority if they have? I don't know who they have to represent them on housing authority. Why do they have to double work to send paperwork to you and then still send paperwork
That's
to the office over there?
That's a good question, but it's because those are also tax credit units that were funded by the state and the Internal Revenue Service, and so they have to document their files to comply with the state regulations, and we have to document our files to comply with the Section 8 regulations. So it's we're
So you
both
say
we both.
Section 8 is maybe a little different. There's the more or less paperwork that they have to do.
I honestly couldn't answer that question.
'Cause I was just wondering
But
if it's the
But
same thing.
even in this building, we have to have two separate files.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're the management company for this building, we still have to have two files because one has to, like Raymond James was the investor, and they're constantly saying we want to see the files and they want to check the compliance of the
But then you
files.
send them the files. They
Right.
don't have to send that other company the files themselves.
What do you mean?
Would you say that Raymond James will want their paperwork?
I'm just saying we have to maintain two sets of files because HUD wants one file because this is all Section 8, and the state and the investor want a tax credit file because all they care about is that we're complying with tax credit rules. So
But
that's why they have to. We're basically doing
the same thing.
similar stuff. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's similar stuff.
Because, to her point, because when I do my research, I have a whole stack of stuff, right? And when I have to share, well, y'all ask for 4 to 6 months of bank statements.
Right.
And for there, all I have to do is turn in my income. But I have to, do the main paperwork, my name,
Right.
household, and composition and stuff. But because that stuff don't change. And I thought Why every year you got to send this same stuff to the housing authority? But then, and we were doing the same paperwork for a long time, but we don't have to do all that anymore.
What do you mean?
But I mean, we have
For
to.
Janie's?
Huh?
You mean for Janie's garden?
I mean, we have to, verify our income and everything, just like you do there. But we don't have to go through all our bank statements and everything.
But the reason for that is you're on our Section 8 program, and the amount of subsidy that we pay to your landlord, which happens to be Janie's Garden, is directly based upon your household's income.
Right.
So that's not really true for Janie's Garden tax credit rent, right? They charge a rent, and we pay them subsidy based on your income, and then you pay a portion of your income to Janie's Gardens for rent. So that program is not as concerned about counting everything you earn and stuff, because they're not managing a subsidy program that changes every year based on your income, but we are. Does that make sense? I mean, we have to check everyone's income every year because we're
It's the
subsidizing.
same numbers, I would think. It don't change.
For some people, they don't. Some people they do. So if you're on a fixed income, other than like when Social Security gets a COLA, it doesn't really change. But yes,
I want to ask the question, what is the difference between Section 8 and HUD?
nothing.
Nothing.
So HUD is the department, and within HUD administers different programs, but the biggest program they administer is Section 8. But a lot of people, the lingo on the street is, I got a HUD, which is really what they are referring to as a Section 8 voucher.
So I have another question. So when in the development and they know how much they can charge for rent, right? And they know what they can charge because they know basically when they put people in apartments, they already know they're getting topped off what you're gonna pay. Why is there not a clause or something that prevents them from increasing their rent? Now they have mixed income, right? And so market rate, they can charge $1 million, okay? But people that is subsidized and their income is a certain amount, why do they increase beyond what people can pay?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. We may have to have like a seminar on this, really drill down into it. But
Go to Jesus seminar.
yeah. So every year, HUD updates the area median incomes for every county all over the country. So based on that, I'm just going to use like 3-bedroom as an example, but you know they do it for 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom.
Right.
So basically, the state. So here's the real. Okay, let me come up with some numbers here. For 3-bedroom rent for someone at 80%. Let's say it's like $2,300. Let's say this is $2,100. Let's say this is $1,900. Let's say this is, I don't know, $1,100. This is $750. I mean, I'm just making up numbers just to illustrate how this works. And this is, let's say this is $300.
Okay.
So the way the state calculates these rents is they look at they look at the area median income, right? The AMI. And they say, okay, for a family of, 4 or whatever, someone earning 30% of this, okay, has a monthly income.
Right.
And 30% of that monthly income, which includes utilities, doesn't all go to rent. They can afford a rent of $300. Okay. So let's just take this for as an example. Let's say this was for last year. Okay. And then every May, HUD updates the median incomes. They don't always go up, by the way.
Right.
But lately they've been going up. At least here they have been. And it doesn't help that like more and more like wealthy people retire in Sarasota because that's pushing up the area median income. But let's say based on HUD's calculation of RAMI, and then the state updates this whole table every year. And let's say now the state calculates, well, let's say the new rent, based on the updated income, now someone at 30% of median income earns X, and 30% of that is $350. To your point, if the Jones family who's living there, their income may not have gone up. Okay? But the state is saying, well, based on the area median income, which went up this year, the property management company can now charge $350 because that's equivalent to 30% of the monthly income of someone at 30%. So that's why that's happening.
But that's choice, isn't it? For the landlord, that's choice.
It is choice. They don't, like they might say, okay, well we're gonna increase it to $325. Maybe we won't increase it as much as we possibly can. But that is what's going on. But behind the scenes, they still have to pay the debt. The taxes may be going up. The insurance may be going up. So it's not. Well, it's not always
right. But
like, do we want to be nice or do we want to be mean?
No,
or
we're talking about business. But I mean, they got the same bills to pay that they had when you was paying 30%.
Right.
But however, you're putting more market rate to kind of balance.
What do you mean by market rate?
People that pay whatever the market say.
Okay.
They're not getting no subsidy.
So, technically, we only have 20 units at Janie's Garden Phase 1. That's market.
Okay.
And I think those rents are, below market, to be honest with you. There's also some Section 8 vouchers in those units. And then the only other development that we have anything above the low income threshold is lofts. And we have 52 units that
But-
are between 80 and 100% of AMI.
Right, but
But
what
that's still
you're-
way below market rent.
what you are building now is between 60 and 80% of the AMI, right?
Well, everything we're building cannot average more than 60% for the whole building.
Right. So
Which means we have a bunch that are under 60 and we have some that might be above 60, up to 80, but it still can't average more than 60.
okay, but those that's below the 60,
Yeah.
they're still averaging out because you are paying the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because they're
So-
on a voucher.
Right,
Yeah.
because you're paying the
Right.
difference on that voucher.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that they're really not losing any money because you are paying the difference.
Right.
And so when they go above the standard that you have,
Which they shouldn't
it
be. They
becomes
shouldn't be
a
doing that.
burden.
Yeah.
on-
They shouldn't be doing that.
Okay.
That shouldn't be happening. That's why I want a name.
I'm
That's why I want a name of
but I'm gonna
someone.
get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. Okay.
You want
Bec-
to write down a note for yourself?
But anyone who's on a voucher, Valerie, whether it's project-based voucher or a tenant-based voucher, they shouldn't be even affected by these state allowed rent increases every year. It should still be based on their income and our payment standards. But if you're saying, I do want to drill down into this because Cypress should not be charging a rent that's above our payment standard and creating a rent burden for our families.
Okay.
So that's something I would be
I'll
concerned about.
I'll follow up on that.
Okay.
I have a pen, but she
Uh-oh.
uses it.
My
You
bad.
can use it. She let me. So now, tell us exactly where we are with the garage for over here.
So the board is going to discuss it at the board meeting on the October 22nd.
Okay.
And I know that there's going to be, I think, 2 or 3 people from the neighborhood who want public parking. They're,
Right,
I think,
right there, creek across the street.
I think they're going to sign up and do the 3-minute, why it's so important to them. But if there are residents who don't want it, they can also sign up. And
Let me ask you one
But they
important-
should get together and get a
but
speaker.
Ernestine sat through both of
right,
the meetings.
Right, I was glad to see her.
And Nicole sat down on the second one, although the residents were not as
Right, didn't mean to
vocally,
come.
yeah.
Right. But I want to ask an important question. Now, HUD says that residents are stakeholders. How much of stakeholders are we really? Because a lot of time when we say stuff, it's overlooked or dismissed or, But, I mean, what do they mean when they say we are stakeholders? Because they, a lot of times it don't seem like it at all.
Yeah. I mean, they don't.
We don't have no money. No,
I think it means we have to consult with the residents. We have to weigh their input. Like in the annual plan, if you provide us comments, we have to provide a response to that. the board, those go to the board as well. I mean, I think in terms of like taking the garage as an example, I mean, I think the board's going to weigh that very heavily, that the residents don't want to have public parking. And it's not critical to our housing project.
Right.
So,
Right. Because when we was in that meeting, I noticed that the city, because I told you, don't take their money then if we got to, always yield to them, but if the city wants to do it, how would the resident voice if they don't want it? Because they made it very plain, about it. Because first they didn't want the building here, period.
yeah.
But I guess they saw the nice of it and I don't know convey what they want. And so they just want the garage private.
Right.
Because them same people that want to come.
It's over?
Sorry, no, break time.
Oh,
We've got 10
segment.
games. I came to get a drink.
The same people that want to build it, want it, they have property that they can build themselves, a garage.
Well, apparently what happened was Mark Kaufman, who developed that whole block up there, where the garden used to be.
Right.
He told the neighborhood he was going to build a parking garage
Okay.
back behind there, and then he backed out. So ever since he backed out of that, they've been clamoring for a garage.
Right.
But
But it's right down Boulevard of the Art. It's a space that they can build,
yeah,
or they can go across the water. I don't care what
yeah, it's not really
But-
our problem. So
Right. I, because I really
Let me get that.
would like to see you take more of a stance for the residents that you serve versus all these wealthy people that want you to jump hoops and do everything they want done.
I hear you.
I want you to be concerned about, these people. But anyway, enough of that. I just wanted to ask that because they always say we are stakeholders, but oftentimes it don't seem like it. It seems like, like you do at City Hall when you go to a meeting and you go down and spend them 3 minutes to speak and they already got their mind made up. They just doing it so they can show that they had people
Right.
coming to speak. We don't want to be like that.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
But I think I'm glad that Jack said what he did because we don't want the city to get too far down the line in terms of their process for figuring out how to pay for it, and if we don't even want to do it. So
Right.
I'd rather the board decide that now and
Yeah.
tell the city, no, we don't want to do it, or we really want to do it, or whatever.
Will that affect the funding source that you get
No.
from them?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it would mean that the city is not going to pay for any parking
Right.
here, but
Right.
yeah.
I'm talking about other funding.
No.
So Bertha Mitchell gonna be Section 8.
Yep.
And you know about when that gonna start? You got to get the permit from HUD.
We got permission. It's just we got to spend down the money. So as soon as the rehab is completed, I would say 6 to 9 months, something like that.
So what rehab, Mr. Russell, is happening at Bertha Mitchell?
We're going to put all new doors on,
Mm-hmm.
front and back. We're going to rehab the bathrooms and the kitchens.
Every apartment?
Every apartment that hasn't been remodeled. we've done
Yeah.
big remodels on some of them. We're going to bring the air conditioner. We've been doing this, but we're going to bring, on the ones that haven't had it, we're bringing the air handler down in the unit, which allows the AC to run much, much better.
Yeah, but
Um,
inconvenience of our storage space.
I know.
Look at me, our storage space.
I know.
So you know, I was one of them that got the first.
yeah.
We were one of them that got the first. So I'm taking it down and putting it there, but
It's and
it's more
electricity is going there
convenience
instead
when
of
they
gas.
come in and chill.
Yes. And we're
Yeah.
putting in
Twisted.
electric hot water heaters, no more gas hot water heaters.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a fair amount of work.
One very important thing, the sewer, because Miss Mays, you know, the sewer that runs out to the road, is y'all going to take that cast iron pipe and put PVC? Cause the city say that that's on the housing authority
it is.
because of
I
it
think
so often
we
she
have
get
done that.
bikes up.
Yeah, we have done that in a few instances.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when it needs to be done, we do replace
So
that.
it'll be part.
Sometimes
of
we'll
this
line
rehab.
it too. Sometimes we'll clean it out and then line it with PVC material.
Oh, okay.
So we did that in this building as well. But yeah.
So that'll be part of this rehab that you're doing.
I need to find out. I don't know. I don't remember if that was. I think we've been doing that just on an as-needed basis, but I can ask about that.
Thank you very much. You know, we lost Tiffany. I told you, right? No, I didn't tell you who I told.
Not me. I think we had the conversation.
Tiffany who? She was on the third floor of Cypress, and she.
Oh
had
yeah, I did
cancer.
hear that. Yeah, I did hear that.
Okay, and they had promised. That's something else too. They was working on a unit to transfer her,
Yeah,
right?
I know, yeah.
And then when it was called to check up on, they had done rented it to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't understand what happened with that.
Yeah.
I need to look into that.
Which brings another important question about these places wherein resident citizens rent, and they working, making good money, and if the job end or something, you know, how can they can we have a clause in the lease somewhere wherein they will have an opportunity to go to something more affordable? In other words, you know, it's not a unit always open,
Right.
but they don't have to become homeless. And these new rents, they should not let housing authority don't even
Bless
let
you.
you get 30 days past due.
Bless
They
you.
should not let people go no 60 days and 90 days in the rear of a rent. Because when they look like it's going that far, somebody needs to be contacted.
Yeah, we're fixing that.
Okay.
Joe has demanded that NBC notify us.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just this morning we got a list of residents who are behind on their portion of the rent, who are on Section 8.
Okay.
So we're going to contact them and say, you need to pay that, because if you don't pay it and they evict you, you're going to lose your voucher.
Right.
So don't
Right.
let that happen.
Yeah, I grew up in a time you pay your rent and your light bill. Now that's two bills you pay on top.
Don't forget the water bill.
Yeah, if you pay water, yeah, those three very important things.
I'm telling you.
Okay, B3. Anything in this section?
I don't think so. We haven't already talked about.
Mr. Russell, the Cypress Square 2 in Central, right? Central
Cypress Square
Garden?
3 in Central,
Oh,
yeah.
3, okay. Now, you did say the apartment's gonna be large enough because remember we were asking for storage spaces.
Yes.
And you did say that they were gonna be large enough so people could store. You know, I see they building a whole bunch of storage units, but you know those things are expensive. And when you already on a fixed income of paying 30%, you don't have money to pay for increased storage every year. Cause storage goes up every year, if not every 6 months.
Okay.
And an elevator is gonna be where?
At Central Gardens,
That's over there
4
by.
stories. 22nd and Central.
Oh, okay,
That will have an elevator.
right. Cause that's gonna be for seniors, semi-seniors.
It's for
Yeah.
families. But it'll be a 1 building, 4 stories. So,
Okay. So let's get to we'd like for you to increase our travel money. You know, every year we ask for an increase. You know that, right? So we can get go to some training. We'd like for that increase. So what you want to increase it to?
well,
Give us $2,000.
I think that we need to address that when the council comes back before the board for their budget.
Okay.
I think that's the time to do that.
Okay.
Because we can fund it any number of ways. You know, it doesn't need to be itemized in the capital fund budget, but it just depends on what the board wants to, you know.
Well,
allocate.
judging from the trauma that we had to go through just to get what we did get, I mean, they were pretty nasty. It really was. The way that they questioned and then had us to do presentation, and they didn't even think enough of us to even come. You know what I mean? I mean, that's showing us disrespect, like they don't care about us anyway. That's just my opinion. Okay.
But they did give you a lot of money.
Yeah, because we just kept.
I can't speak, I'm a legal. I'll call you back.
They didn't want to see my face no more.
Sorry, Mama.
Whatever reason. The Lord probably shook me. With the council, so we've started having our meeting once a month. I like to see that continue. And I also like to know let us know when there are residents / citizens that is having difficulty or seem like trouble, like this instance this morning, what we met about,
Yeah.
so that we could head it off, you know. And I think we need to have real conversations on this, because I think that not just your staff, but residents should have a fair shake and not just take the words of staff over residents, because all of them people, you know, and some of it may be uncomfortable, but I think that if we gonna hold residents accountable, we need to hold staff accountable as well. I mean, that's no more fair to me. But, you know, we like to get involved in that. And one other question, we were down, when we were down there, we had cable, because we were able to see the commission meetings and stuff, and y'all won't give it to us over here, so we could use money out of our budget to get this TV on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can watch the commission meetings on the internet.
Yeah.
We want the TV run. We can't even listen. We can't even hardly figure out the computer half the time.
Yeah.
I have to call that man.
Do you have
Zach.
that number down? Did you write that number down?
I called his office because Zach not there no more.
No, I know. I liked it.
He's not?
Yeah. Because I called him the other day because we were trying to get
Something
on
down.
there to do some stuff, you know. It's, you know, and the printer that you got, wasn't that wrong with our printer? Why did you change it out? You brought us an Epson. We had a real good printer.
I don't know.
I think we were told it didn't work.
We couldn't get it to, cause it kept, we couldn't, the Wi-Fi over there would always kick off. But this one, it don't do front and back, you know.
Double-sided?
printing. Yeah, it don't.
You sure?
We trying to figure out really how to use it.
It might just be a setting you have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I can take a look at the book and see if I can. But if you ever need a job done, if it's something we could do, we might be able to handle it for you.
You have time to submit us comments.